I'm getting anxious. I'm excited about games, excited about the test to see where the team's at. The news of the day, I guess, if you'd start by saying that you had an injury um, last week that led to the announcement today that you're losing a guy that was certainly going to provide at least some depth and was competing to try to be a starter. Kayden Lyles, the Wisconsin transfer, who when we first saw, we thought had a real good chance to perhaps come in here and compete for a position in the interior as either the center or the guard, a center or a guard. But that's not going to happen. He is out for the season. That was announced today by Mike Norvell after practice. So Kayden Lyles not part of that depth. Now, fortunately for Florida State, again, I think they have options. Tom and I talked before we did the show here today. Before we came in, we were texting back and forth a little bit about what we think could happen there, and we could maybe speculate a little bit on that. But you know, first of all, it would mean that Maurice Smith is your guy. My estimation was that it was going to be him had this competition played out to the fullest without the disruption due to injury. I feel like he was, in my estimation, again, just my assessment, he was winning that job anyhow. But you do lose a depth piece, and a guy who was still going to battle. So who knows if he would have come on in the rest of the spring? We don't know. I mean, the rest of fall camp here, we don't know. It could have maybe been a backup, a guard as well. So it's unfortunate for the young man first and foremost. It's unfortunate for Florida State and their depth, but it's not the end of the world. They have been developing some of the younger guys. Tom and I have talked at length about how impressed, and even Coach Norvell has been asked about him a couple times, how good Estes has been in this camp, both at guard, and he's getting some work at center. We know that. So they rotate lots of guys. By the way, that's not news. They rotate lots of guys trying to figure out which group is going to be the best five, which group is the next best five. And, you know, you move guys guard, center. Sometimes you experiment with guys. You got other people coming back today, which is good news. So we'll see how this plays out. But the bad news is what we start with the loss of an injury, a loss of a player due to injury for the season. Again, Kayden Lyles is out. We wish him nothing but the best and hope that he gets better. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to go to Warchant TV, warchant.com, I should say, and take a look at the audio. It's been posted, Mike Norvell's post-practice round with the press. He was very excited about situational work. They had a little shortened practice today. Of course, they're traveling to Jacksonville, so that makes sense. They've been getting after it hardcore. Today, the offense got the better of it. Tom was there. I was not. First day of school for my children, running around doing that. But I can tell from reports and from listening to Mike Norvell himself that he was very pleased with the offense, and good to see that Jordan Travis had a good day. That's exciting.
A good day might be an understatement. We all have referenced that one particular end to a spring camp practice where we walked out of practice saying, oh my goodness, both offenses took turns. It was Jordan, then it was Tate, and he just thought, man, what's possible in this moment? I would say that today, the effort specifically from 13 was worlds better than that, because it was every time they went good on good and 11 on 11. So for people, to understand how they lay out practice, most of the first four periods are visible to the media, and that's the video that you see. Then they shut it down, and everything that happens after that is all about context building for us. We can't tell you exactly how it all breaks out.
Yeah.
So they do a little bit of teamwork early, and then they come back to it later in the practice. We can at least share that much. Jordan started out like gangbusters, and you're wondering, wow, okay, that's very nice. What a way to assert yourself. And before you get to Jacksonville, show that you've got your wares all where they need to be. And then you just don't expect it to be as consistent because it hasn't been. He'll have good series and good moments, and then there'll be times where you go, well, I wish he handled that a lot better. Today was just one after the next. It was like a three-point shooter going unconscious in the course of a game in the first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter.
Good.
And you say to yourself, will somebody stop this guy? That's what the defense was saying today about Jordan Travis. It was really impressive because it wasn't about his legs. It was about throws, and it was about throws over every piece of the field.
Yeah, that's good news. You're right. The consistency is what we ask for with any of these guys. Tate, for example, we've been singing his praises lately, but even Tate will have great days and terrible days, and good series, bad series. Now I think, again, I will state this: it's not a detriment to Jordan Travis's game, who has other strengths. But I think if we're going pass for pass, Tate Rodemaker's a better passer of the football. But that's not the whole answer. That's not everything. But even having said that, Tate's not always out there slinging it around perfectly. He has good decision days, bad decision days, good throws, bad throws. Jordan Travis, same way. His strengths sometimes are on display. You go, wow, if you don't have that, you don't have anything. He's important. And then the next thing you're like, I'd like to see a little bit of improvement in this area because you've been here long enough now. We need to see that. So to hear today that he had start to finish great practice, that's huge. That's huge. That's the consistency that every coach is looking for. An offensive mind like Mike Norvell is looking to see that out of his starting quarterback. Because, and I'll say that unequivocally, his starting quarterback is Jordan Travis. We know this. It's going to be Jordan Travis. So while he's electrifying with his legs, and you'd be foolish not to use that element of his game, in fact, you have to, because it's really a lot of your offense is predicated on his mobility. You do want to see him get hot throwing the football and showing that he can do that period to period, series to series, practice to practice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't a moment where you walk out of the practice fields and you say, shut it down, everybody. That Vegas over-under is way too low. 10 wins. Here we come. It's nothing like that. But for me personally, just having seen most every snap that Jordan's taken in the last couple of seasons in games and in practice, this is as good as he's looked. So I know that this is in him. It's not about that's the new Jordan Travis is the guy I saw today. That's crazy if you were to posit that. But I didn't know he had this in him consistently with really in sequence. I know we can't get into too much detail,
right,
but
really
it's just,
yeah.
Yes, that if that's in him, then there might be a game or two this season where you go, Jesus, who is this guy?
Well, that'd be huge, man. Wouldn't you? I mean, we'd all get really excited about that. I'm rooting for that.
But it's not about building up the hype train to say, oh, wait till you see this kid for 12 games. It's just the best of what he has been redefined for me today.
It's preseason camp. We all salivate every morsel of information we can get. We get excited about, and we tend to over-exaggerate, at least in terms of what we can extrapolate from that day, that moment. So we always warn both ourselves and each other in the audience that, hey, today was a good day. Doesn't mean tomorrow will be. Doesn't mean that he's suddenly this other player. But it does mean that he had a great day today. And you can say it unequivocally, and you should, and that's good. And more importantly than the perception of what that means or doesn't mean is, does Jordan gain from that? Does Jordan begin to feel better about those throws and his pre-snap reads and getting the ball out on time and throwing in rhythm and believing that he can trust his receivers to be where they're supposed to be? That's what these things do. I mean, at various points in his career, he's made throws that big-time quarterbacks make. So those throws are in there. They're not always in succession. They're always carried over per game, per quarter, whatever you want to look at, whatever, how you want to set the overall parameters of judgment. But what I would tell you is that, to see him do it throughout the course of a day, throughout the course of an entirety of a practice, tells me that maybe he's gaining more trust in his receivers. And that's really important because, he had good reason not to trust them a year ago. They weren't any good. They sucked. He had good reason not to trust the offensive line to protect them, to allow routes to develop last year because they weren't any good. They sucked. And then there were days where they did those things and Jordan didn't make the throws. So there's been enough blame to go around. Let's hope this is the start of a trust that carries over from practice to practice, game to game.
Yeah, he's got to feel better, and so do the receivers after today. One of the things that stuck out to me, because they worked inside for most of the day, so I'm glued to this area where they have the replay screen.
I love that replay screen, man. It's the best. You can get you can see it from above. That's the best part.
So towards the end of practice, they're going in the opposite direction, and you just hear the roars from the offensive sideline in a way that I've only heard the defensive sideline roar for most of camp. It's not to say that defense always wins. It's just they're usually more loud and engaged. That's kind of defense anyway.
Yeah.
But the offensive sidelines were feeling it today, and it's because different receivers stepped up. It wasn't that a different guy stepped up today and then other dudes took a turn for the worse on a Wednesday practice. Name a receiver, and they had a good day today. And if, for example, Johnny Wilson, we can't get into details, but what I will say is, if you're a general FSU fan out there and you say, I hope Johnny Wilson can do this. Today was a day that he would fill in that blank for whatever you want it to be. He was able to do a lot today. So just a really good day for the offense. Here's hoping we're not at October 15th saying, man, it was fool's gold way back in August. It was all fool's gold. I think that they've got better in them, and they showed that today, and now we know it for sure that they do have better in them.
Yeah, we mentioned the injury to Kayden Lyles to start the show, unfortunately, but there's another injury, and it involves somebody on Florida State's schedule. It's important to note he's one of the better players in the conference. Wake Forest is Florida State's opponent on October the 1st. Why is that relevant? Well, I'm not trying to be crass by ignoring the impact of an injury on a player and his status. I wish him well. But Sam Hartman's the quarterback of which I speak for Wake Forest, who had himself a banner season a year ago and was expected to only bolster the numbers he's already put up and possibly put himself in a position to make a lot of money in the National Football League. It was announced today that he will miss an unspecified period of time as there is an injury to the Demon Deacon quarterback. He had a procedure done, is what it reads.
Non-football.
Yeah, so it was a non-football related issue, the school announcing today. It's been reported on a lot. My friend David Hale is who I'll give the credit to, as he does a great job for ESPN.com covering the ACC and college football in general. He noted, again, that it was a non-football injury, and he was going to be out for an extended period of time. He did have a medical procedure, even though it's a non-football related thing. It is a medical procedure. He basically during a workout on Tuesday, he sought medical attention. Something happened during that workout. We can't know what it was, but it was enough for him to know I need to go see somebody, and then it required a procedure. So we just wish him well. I wish him well. It could have a huge impact, though. It really could. I mean, again, I understand there are more important things in the world than football. That is absolutely true. Everybody gets that. We're all adults here. Now, assuming you get that too, let's talk about what it means. Florida State plays Wake relatively early in the schedule. If Sam Hartman's out, this was a game that you looked at here at home, partially as no doubt a revenge game because of the 6 turnovers and the penalties galore and the ass kicking that Florida State took at Wake Forest, but also because if you're going to take the next step forward, if Florida State's going to get to 8 wins, God forbid 9 wins, something magical like that, this was a game that fell in the category of, all right, we might be slight underdogs at home, could be a 50-50 game. Can you win it? He's one of the many veteran quarterbacks you'll be facing that will test your defense. If he's out, and it's a big if, we don't know, but if he's out for that game, Florida State will be a significant favorite in that football game, barring they've got Joe Montana behind Sam. I got to believe that that's a huge step back. Hartman was incredible last year. Go look at those numbers. So I would think that's and he is such a leader for that team. He is beloved by his teammates. He has not only the ability, which is fairly elite within that system, he's also had all the experience, tons of reps. So potentially a significant setback. Obviously, again, we wish him well. But if we're just talking about the football, if he's out for that game, Florida State would be, I think, it would shift to Florida State being a favorite at the very least, maybe even a significant favorite.
A couple of context things on that. Number one, even before this non-football related issue, Hartman had another year of eligibility next season, even before this particular issue. And the second thing is Clausen up at Wake Forest has been adamant in saying that he's going to be back this year.
Yeah, he did. He said that. Yeah, no, I know he'll be back. I mean, that's why this didn't feel like a catastrophic thing. This wasn't one of those things where you read it and you're trying to read between the lines as a fan and you get scared because it kind of reads like cancer or something like that, where you kind of raise an eyebrow. This doesn't sound like that at all. In fact, he returned to the camp to see the players to let him know he was fine. And, quote, he wanted those guys to see him and let him know he's okay. He wanted to come out here with a smile and be with his teammates. He's in a real good place like now. He's extremely motivated. Football is important to him. He loves Wake Forest. He said he's fine. Guys, quote, I'll be fine, is what he said to the team. So this is, I mean, unless they're
short of knowing what it is.
Right. I mean, good God, he's telling everybody he's going to be okay. So this is not a tragic situation. It's an unfortunate situation. Let's just be honest. If he happens to miss the Florida State game, boo-hoo. I mean, hey, look, we're trying to win some damn games around here. And Lord knows Florida State has had a gazillion injuries and setbacks to players. I don't root for that for other people unless they're awful people. But we've had it happen here a lot. Nobody's pitying our 5-7 ass taking advantage of these opportunities with guys being out of the lineup, especially up and down that offensive line. So, you know what? It happens. It's football. It's a rough game. Guys get hurt. If it happens to your opponent and it gives you an advantage, you got to take advantage of it. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see, because that was a game that I think we would really worry about because of his talent. He may play anyhow, so it may be a moot point, but we don't know. That's October the 1st. It's just something to circle and look at there. News from the ACC in college football. And I would say it's funny. The die is cast in a way right now. If you're looking at prognostications, you guys know this for some of the other work that I do for some other sites and things like that. I'm constantly looking for, let's just put it this way, betting opportunities, Tom.
The winning edge.
Yeah. You want to do that? Yeah, we can make it a commercial. So I'm always looking for these things. And so I end up having to read a lot of publications, and I go to a lot of websites, and guys that, after a while you do this, you find out guys that are a little bit more trustworthy than others, guys who do their research, guys that are a little bit more thorough, guys who do a good job of assessing what they're seeing. And man, I'll tell you what, it's a polarizing team, Florida State, in the betting community. And you got a lot of people who are like the coaches poll, like, bums, no shot, another 4 or 5 wins for those bums. And then there's a whole nother group of analysts that are like, could be the surprise of the ACC, may win 9 games. You're like, good God, there's no middle ground right now when you do these reads from a betting standpoint on Florida State. It's fascinating to see the way we're perceived. Just an observation. I've been doing a lot more of this in the days and weeks behind us, and will moving forward. But it's funny. I noticed that.
Well, it's because I think 2 trajectories are not equally possible. I'm on the optimistic side, but how you start is how you're going to finish in all likelihood here.
I think so.
You can't go 1-2 and then magically finish 9-3. It's just that's the odds are so stacked against that. You got to start 2-1 with Boston College at home after all that craziness of a Sunday bye Friday. I mean, that's crazy for weeks 2 or games 2 and 3 in the season. If you start 2-1, you're off and running. If you start 1-2, yikes.
Well, the other reason, Tom, and you've correctly pointed this out, but it's for everybody else too. Yes, you're going to get the Duquesne win, but it's LSU and Louisville where you have to go 1-1. That puts you at 2-1. You host Boston College. That is a mess on the offensive line, and a team you beat on the road last year, and you feel good about beating again this year. Then you're hosting the aforementioned Wake game. We'll see if Sam Hartman is even going to be able to play. But then from there, if you're not in a good position, well, we've learned our lesson to assume certain things based on last year's start and finish to the season. But you are going on the road to NC State, then hosting Clemson. And yeah, you get a laugher, we think, against Georgia Tech, but then you're on the road against Miami. 3 out of those 4 games are admittedly very difficult tests. So you got to be in a good position before you go on that stretch. Not just because your margin for error is gone if you start poorly, but because of the psyche and the mentality. When you're coming off as many losing campaigns as Florida State is, you haven't had much to hang your hat on. If you still don't have anything to hang your hat on before you go to NC State, yeah, what makes you think you're suddenly going to be emboldened with confidence that you're going to go win that game? A team that beat you a year ago right here, and a team that's better than they were a year ago with a veteran quarterback and a place that'll be going. I mean, listen, you could just see it spiral. You're absolutely right. And I think that's why I'm so anxious for the season. The scenarios are drastic. Florida State could get off to a huge start, a great start with wins over a Louisville and an LSU, and suddenly everybody's walking around with an air of confidence we haven't felt in 5 years. Or
you're looking at 4-0 or 5-0 right in the face.
Right in the face. Yeah. Or it's same old, and you've lost the recruits again, and you're about to go through a stretch of 4 games where only one feels very winnable. That would be brutal. It's just I think everything about the season sets up for extremes. It's fascinating. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number 1, you'll never see that person again. Number 2, your technician is likely to change often. And number 3, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our #1 priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
Hearth and Patio wants you to know now is the time to start thinking about your fireplaces. Yes, we know that temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 90s for the next couple of months, but now is the time to start thinking about upgrading those fireplaces. You're not going to be using them. Get those fireplaces upgraded now. They can repair all makes and models of fireplaces. 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout, resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
We often bring these things up as an aside, just to point out some other sports news of the day, of course. But Serena Williams going to retire after the U.S. Open. Nobody will get a ticket. That's it. You're screwed. If you wanted a U.S. Open ticket, the ship has sailed.
And if you have one, you just won the lottery.
Yeah, you're about to make a lot of money. A 23-time Grand Slam champion. You know. By the way, I kind of like this part of it. So this is twofold because she knows enough to know, it's time to get. Time to get with the kid. It's over. Hadn't been real competitive lately. And we always lament when any of the giants of our time, the greatest players in their respective sports, stick around too long and embarrass themselves out here getting smoked 0-1 by some bum you never heard of, ranked 110th in the world. Can't have all that. Not for Serena. No. Don't do it. So she knows. It's time. Plus, she wants to have another kid. Well, listen, let's just be honest. At that age, if you have a second kid, and you want to be a world champion, it ain't going to happen. You can't do it. It's just not going to happen. So she knows enough to know that. But I like this. This shows that competitive spirit. The way I see it, I should have had 30 plus Grand Slam titles, detailing some of the hurdles that she's had to play through since giving birth in 2017. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. I didn't show up the way that I should have every time or could have, but I did show up 23 times, and that's extraordinary. So that's a nice mix. Nice little mix.
It is a nice mix.
Nice mix of,
like, if
don't forget who I am.
Right.
But I feel like I left a few out there.
If I had that approval score little button that they have for debates,
you're moving
president,
around.
I'm like, no, that's weak. Well, that's true.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a little.
It was a good Alonzo Mourning moment there. I'm like, get out of here with that.
That's not so bad. Yeah, good point. So there is that news. There is the news that the live golfers will not be allowed to play in the FedEx, which, by the way, points race and all that good stuff. That's a nice blow for live. But I especially like that it happened to the three that were personally suing the PGA Tour, because that's a toughie. That's a tough one to lose out on. It seemed like a slam dunk. Didn't happen for them, so they won't participate. In the interim, Ricky Fowler gets in at 125 because those guys get removed. So he gets to play. Now the mighty have fallen at exactly 125.
World events needed to happen in order for that dude to make the playoffs.
That's a toughie.
Well, hopefully we are the Ricky Fowler of the college football playoff this year.
Remember this, he's exempt for a long time in the next several years because of victories that he's had on tour and the money he's made and all that. But as far as the playoffs, yes.
I just hope we are known as the Ricky Fowler of college football this year.
We would be known as something better than Ricky Fowler. We would be a guy that has won, to go back to tennis. Let's go to tennis. We'd be known as a guy that had won several Grand Slam titles in our past and then remained dormant for several years and then went on a magical run again.
Yeah, we're Federer at Wimbledon next year. But there you go.
Speaking of retirement, Serena should put her arm around old Fed. Be like, come on, man. Our time was great.
So you can still make the quarterfinals.
Our time was great.
The tennis draw is embarrassing that they're letting these old dudes still make it to quarterfinals and semifinals anytime they strap it up.
It seems close to that. Chris Sale fell off his bike and is done for the year. Man, I don't know what it is about pitchers, but it's more than just throwing. It's more than just elbow injuries. Like a lot of times when you and I talk about a prospect, now Chris Sale's not a prospect, he's been great for a long, long time. But when we talk about guys that are dominating on the mound, we always hold our breath because you never know from start to start. You're like, oh, shoulder tightness. Here we go. Because it's an unnatural motion. So it happens all the time. But then there are dudes who also fall under the umbrella of pitcher. That is their job. Who get hurt sleeping, sneezing, taking a cab, slipping down steps, putting on shoes. Chris Sale falls in this category. He's going to miss the rest of the 2022 season. He fractured his wrist. He was already on the 15-day DL after hurting his pinky finger during a July start. He was returning home Saturday, rode his bike to grab some lunch, got going a little too fast, hit a bump, and flew off the front of the bike. Dude, you're a world-class athlete. We can't ride a bike? Get it together.
If he was Nick O'Leary, the ground would have cracked in half.
Remember that footage?
Harrowing footage.
I remember there were rumors of the Nick O'Leary hitting the bus footage floating around for weeks in advance of actually seeing the copy of him ricocheting off the glass of the bus, the front windshield, and then getting up and calmly walking away. But I didn't believe it. I remember somebody telling me, like, I've heard, my friend Jack has seen it. O'Leary got hit by a bus. I mean, legit hit by a bus. What? Yeah, you see the cam from inside. He hit the glass of the front of the bus. What? Yeah, hit by a bus and got up and walked away. It's the damnedest thing. And I didn't believe it. And then I saw the footage of him getting hit by a bus.
He did a better job with the bus than he did blocking linebackers.
Yeah, but he made up for it as an elite
of course he did.
tight end,
I mean,
man.
The suplex and the Clemson in 13, old unbelievable truck job that got Kirk Herbstreit all Gary Danielson in that moment.
That was brutal.
Ooh.
Just adding.
Kirk.
Yeah, but adding to it was awesome. I remember laughing aloud, as they say. I was like, oh, sir, that is not what we do here.
Old Herbie wouldn't have been allowed to be that uppity about Florida State if Fowler was standing next to him, but it was Brent on that night.
Nicole Auerbach, who writes for The Athletic, reporting that the Big Ten is in the process of finalizing their media rights deals, and ESPN is out. They said, no, nay. We have pulled out of negotiations. I know you were worried about what that last word was going to be. There it is, negotiations. That's it. They are out. The network said to no to the conference's final offer, which was a 7-year deal worth $380 million annually. Fox, which had locked up Big Ten rights months ago, is co-partnering with whomever the Big Ten is now going to add, which is believed to be NBC and CBS.
Yeah, in the beginning when I heard that ESPN was out, I wondered if this was a net positive for Florida State.
Pooling their money towards a mega SEC in which Florida State and Clemson would be a part of?
Well, if the Big Ten was still a part of ESPN, then perhaps Florida State could move to either of the two conferences. Being my thought, ESPN would shuffle them to either brand. And when that came off the table, I said, this isn't good. And then I heard NBC was involved with the Big Ten. I thought, this is great, because this is the next step towards Notre Dame telling the ACC that you can keep the money from all other sports. For football, we're going to the Big Ten with everything else. So screw you. You can have the grant of rights for lowly softball. We're going to go get that football money with the Big Ten, and therefore that should spur ESPN on to help fortify the ranks for the SEC. So I think this is a net good. The grant of rights still stands in the way, but somebody's going to drop kick that thing in the next 4 or 5 years.
Two things. John, yes, he hit the bus. Either way you want to look at it, a bus hit or he hit a bus. And that footage, I think it can still be found relatively easily. I haven't gone and looked for it in years, but it's spectacular. Secondly, Live Spectator, you win. Well done. Thank you. It's an oldie but a goodie. No Big Ten for the ESPN. Pam Ward is sad.
See what NBC wants to do with this as well is get the games on Peacock so that they can get their streaming service more robust. So Notre Dame's contract is up soon too.
Yes, and they are going to cash in, by the way.
There it is. Well, maybe as a part of the Big Ten.
I don't think so. I think they're going to remain independent.
You think so?
I do. I don't think they're in any hurry.
So the rumor is that NBC would have the primetime Big Ten game. CBS would have the 3:30 window, 2:30 Central for most of those Big Ten institutions, and hell, 12:30 for some future Big Ten institutions out on the West Coast. But if that's the case, then Notre Dame would be the midday NBC draw, and then the Big Ten would play at night on NBC. So they'd have a doubleheader.
Oh, they'd be loving that, wouldn't they?
I would have thought they would just
flip it. It depends on how big the opponent is for Notre Dame that day.
Maybe, but if it's an ACC opponent, then you can't really. CBS needs to get the midday.
Yeah, but if they're playing Southern Cal, if they're playing Michigan, because they do that. If they were playing, then absolutely you could.
I just wonder if NBC would say, listen, we've got a lot of money we're spending on the NFL. We have all these other sports. Let's just pool our money together in one fell stroke. Let's get Notre Dame and the Big Ten together. Let's facilitate this deal. They're all going to be in the room anyway.
Well, the waiting's the hardest part, as Tom Petty would say, and I think that's really more than anything else. We know people will be moving. We know it's a matter of time, but we don't know exactly when. And you want to know just how on edge people are. Go check your timeline on a given day or your inbox, depending on how tuned in and locked in the fans of or listeners of this program or whatever college football in general are. I got a million notices yesterday that Notre Dame was going to have a Twitter space conversation at some point with Jack Swarbrick this week. And I was like, they're not making an announcement. They're not announcing anything on Twitter.
On Twitter spaces.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Of all forums and multimedia, where we need to make this happen? The announcement that Notre Dame is no longer independent in football.
Twitter spaces.
Twitter spaces.
What? Yeah. And finally, I would point out here, we did address, for those that missed it, we did address the injury to Hartman earlier in the program. So if anybody misses that, and it's not for the year, we don't know how long. It's indefinite for now, but he will be back this year. So I guess it's not indefinite. Just not an exact date.
It's indefinite in the short term, as Mike Norvell would say.
Mike Norvell would say. I was hoping you'd go there. I served it up. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man was arrested over the weekend after allegedly shooting at a car full of children as it drove by his home. Jason Ellis, 35, was arrested and charged with 3 weapons offenses and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Deputies responded to a call of the shooting early Saturday morning on Selly Shepherd Road. 6 victims, including 4 juveniles, were allegedly shot at while driving by Ellis's home. Some of the occupants suffered minor injuries by shattered glass and metal from the vehicle, but there were no injuries from the firearm. The victims were treated and released. Ellis was booked into the Gadsden County Jail Sunday evening and is being held without bond. The Tallahassee Fire Department responded to a fire at Harmony Crossing Apartments Tuesday morning. The apartment belonged to a family of 4 or 5 and has been deemed unlivable. The Red Cross is helping to place the family somewhere else. Officials say the fire started at 10:30 a.m. and no one else was affected. TFD is investigating the cause of the fire. No injuries were reported. This is Rachel N.A. with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 91. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight. Lows around 73. Overcast skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 83.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so talking about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Good to be with you. If you're looking to get regimented, get focused, get locked in, and provide yourself with the best possible way to stay healthy and have more energy on a daily basis, more life, as they say, at Orange Theory Fitness, that's my workout of choice, and I think a good choice for you, too. There are 2 locations in Tallahassee, Florida. One's in Midtown. I have never taking a class at the Midtown location, and it's now going to start. I'm going to have to start working out at Midtown.
Really?
Well, I drop my son off so early in the morning these days over at his high school, and then it's quicker for me to go there than to go all the way back towards my house. And I'm thinking on the days that I'm not going to Florida State football, let's say I have a meeting or something like that, and I have this little window, I'm going to go ahead and beat the bejesus out of his mic. Then I go to Midtown. I'm interested to see if there's, I don't know if I have more energy, if I'm infused with more life at the Midtown location.
It's a fun experiment.
For obvious reasons.
The Midtown More Energy experiment. Fire away.
Apparently, it's a impressive roster of folks that head to Midtown.
So I think that it's actually easier if I was to drive to either of those two locations to go closer to your house than to get to Midtown.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for where you are. Yeah.
It's impossible.
Midtown's tough, yeah. First class is always free at Orange Theory Fitness. First month free with the purchase of a heart rate monitor. You'll need that heart rate monitor because you've got interval training you're doing. You want to see how much stronger and how your stamina increases, and what you're able to do, how far you're able to push it. So it's a great workout with really fantastic instruction and sort of a team atmosphere, really, more than anything else. I think people get intimidated when they look in there and they see everybody working so hard and stuff, and they think, well, I don't know if I want to do that. But it really turns out that the coaches and the other folks seeking better fitness are rooting for you, not against you. Orange Theory Fitness, 2 locations in town. Check them out. There was a question here that I wanted to touch on, and it is this one. Tamorrion Terry was far from a complete receiver. It put up monster numbers on essentially the same type of route. How does Span compare to him? He's not as polished. He's even rawer, I think, than Tamorrion Terry was. Tamorrion Terry, unfortunately, kind of, I think, squandered an opportunity in his life here to be an NFL player for some time. I think he had it in him to be a good player, not an elite player, but a good player in the league. His body type was phenomenal. And he actually, when he was locked in, it was a very small stretch of time where he was locked in. But when he had good hands when he cared to play, when he was really working hard. Again, the window is very small to find that place and time where that existed. But Span is also a guy that is impressive on the hoof, as they say. When you look at him, you immediately notice that our segment group at wide receiver does not feature anybody that looks like him. Requisite height, size, speed is better than, I'd say, all the receivers we have at that size, certainly, in terms of that height or anything else. So, yeah, I think he's going to help us in special teams. He's going to help us as a receiver. I think he hasn't played a lot of receiver, period. He had 5 catches at Illinois. So he's only going to get better because he's dedicating himself to it. He's been better and better and better throughout camps, plural. I thought he was as raw as they come when we saw him in spring and had a long way to go. And I certainly didn't put it in pen that he was going to be on the depth chart in a way that was going to help us all that much as a receiver. Maybe as a returner, I thought there was hope. I thought in the quick game they could use him, get it out in his hands. Thought maybe some of the jet stuff you could get him in the ball. And that's just where my head was at with him early on. And now that we've watched fall camp, he's becoming a more complete receiver. And I do think they're going to try to utilize him a lot more often than I would have suspected going back to what we were looking at in spring. And that's good news. Good news. Shows that his commitment is there, his focus is there, and his dedication to hard work is there. He has no more illusions about being a quarterback, and he is locked in solely on being a receiver.
Yeah, this question came up on the boards yesterday, which you can be a member of for just $1.
It's a buck.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a buck.
That's right. Just head to the website. It's right there at the top. It's in green. That's where you can sign up for 1 year for $1. My answer was mostly the same, but just a little bit different with the Deuce Span take as to where he is right now. Tamorrion played much taller. Even though Deuce is all of 6'4", just the way he played, probably the lankier frame from Tamorrion, he presents like a taller target. Deuce, I would say, already shows more willingness to be involved in more of the route tree. Like, it's not just a 9 or a deep post, that's all it seemed like Terry ever wanted or cared to run.
Wanted the glory, baby.
Right. But there's a lot of catches to be made in different parts of the football field, and it seems like Deuce Span has taken an appreciation for that. And he's trying to work in as many facets as he can as a receiver because it's more than just being that type of outside threat. He's not trying to be a one-trick pony. And I think he's already more apt than Terry was at this point in his career at running more different kinds of routes, which is a good thing. It bodes well for the long term for Deuce.
Yeah, my thing with him, and this is where I tell people to be patient, if you've not had a lot of game reps at wide receiver, things move really quickly, and it is a short and violent action, anything in the middle of the field. That takes some getting used to, man. Takes some really getting used to. And learning how to run where your head doesn't bounce and you're able to lock in and kind of gain control of your body. There's very specific techniques for that. These are all some of the unseen elements of learning how to play wide receiver. And so while you're working on that, you can certainly do it every day at practice, and he does. And you can rep it, but you got to do it in games when the world is speeding past, where there is something at stake, where there is an opposing safety breathing down on you or underneath a linebacker, where you have to learn how to slow things down, be confident in what you're doing, understand the depth, see the ball into your hands, make the catch away from your body, and understand that you're going to get hit. And that's just going to take time. I'm not trying to paint a picture of a guy who's mechanical. He's not. He's an athlete. But he is going to have to do it consistently in games and get used to it. I mean, like anything else, you get used to it. You know, it's always remarkable. We see this all the time, and I'm reminded of it at the start of every camp once they go into full pads. There's a reason that a professional fighter can take a punch to the face and you and I can't. We don't get hit every day. They do. They're sparring every day. Well, not every day, but they're sparring a lot. Their body is used to being punched. They have to rep it and get used to that. I remember when you first go into pads, you end up that first week battered and bruised. Your body's like, what are we doing here? But then it hardens. It gets tough. And you can take shots you could not have taken at the beginning of camp. And you're able to just kind of bounce up. So I think that's true of receivers. That's true of football players in general. I think that the more you do it, and then when you do it in games, you just get used to it. And all of a sudden, the magnitude of that moment, the adrenaline that runs through you, that spikes severely and exhausts you and takes away your concentration, that subsides over time the more you rep it. He just hasn't played a lot of college football from the receiver position.
Yeah, I heard you guys yesterday debate numbers with Deuce-Span when you're doing your rapid-fire questions, which was fun. Yeah, it was like Jimbo. Bam, bam, bam. I was impressed.
Let him know, never again.
If the 5 touchdowns was a good number, the 15 catches, I think it was 15 or 18.
20, I thought
one of those
said.
two.
Well, it might have been 18.
I think that's attainable because he is invested in being able to be more than a one-trick pony.
Sure.
Especially against the lesser opponents who might rack up a 4 or 5 catch day, so you've done a lot of work, like against a Duquesne or something along those lines. But because he is willing to be more than a 9 and a 9 only, and that's, it's just when he's out there, it's almost like you're giving away what you're running, the play that you're running. It's not like that because he cares to be more detailed and because he's shown growth in those facets of near the line of scrimmage, down the field. There's a chance he gets into the high teens. I think a good one.
Yeah, I juxtapose these numbers that we have for our receivers 2 ways. The first is, okay, how big a leap is this passing game going to take from a year ago? A year ago, our top receiver caught 15 balls.
Oh, something absurdly low, yeah.
I mean, sweet Jesus, what are we doing out here? We'll check that. I think it's 15. It's absurd. Anyhow, so I juxtaposed where the passing game was and where we'd like it to be and what it's capable of based on the improvements to the segment group and the offensive line. And then, of course, whatever improvements Jordan Travis is making as a passer.
24 from Parchment.
Oh, 24. Wow, you would never have guessed that from Parchment, by the way. I think like 18 of the 24 came in 3 games because there's a whole lot of nothing. But it's still 24. It's still 24 from a dude who caught 1 million balls at Kansas and had been a receiver. You know what I mean? Like, for a while. So, okay, that's where we're at with that. Then secondly, I judge it by, and I get back to the offensive line being a big part of this. You really couldn't trust that Florida State could have plays to develop consistently because of the offensive line, and Jordan would give up on him too soon because he didn't trust the group in front of him or the receivers. So it's interesting. They've got a chance to take a big step forward, but even still, it's not the strength of the team. The strength of the team is going to be running the football, whether it be with Jordan Travis, Trey Benson, Ward, you name it. It's going to be designed running the football. They want to punish people. They want to run the ball. I think that's just playing to your strengths. I don't think that's necessarily Mike saying, I have to be this. Mike has always, going back to his Memphis days, played to his team's strength. I like that about him. It was one of the things I liked when we hired him. He's had running backs that he produced and put into the pros, because when he had those guys, when he had horses, he gave them the damn football and played to it. When he had other guys at other positions that he felt better about, threw the ball around a little bit. So he's playing to the strengths of the team, and I think the strengths of the team, without question, is the rushing game. So how many at-bats are they going to get? An individual receiver in this offense, how many at-bats is he going to get per game, as opposed to a passing offense like Wake Forest's, or a passing offense like you'll see this year at Miami, although they're going to run the ball more because Cristobal's back, but they have a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's interesting. You do have to juxtapose those things. I think it's kind of tough.
Yeah, to me, I think there are a lot of opponents there, defensively speaking, that you could achieve an early statement with the ground game and then go to passing off of that and still be in the third quarter by the time you're like, man, they could move the ball around. It's Duquesne. I think Louisville's defense is gettable. Wake Forest certainly
defense is really gettable.
I'm skipping over Boston College. You might get more possessions just because their offense can't move the ball, but I don't think it's going to be because that we're offensively productive on our own. That defense is good, but they just don't have any offensive linemen. Certainly Syracuse and Georgia Tech, Louisiana. I mean, you've got several opponents where I think you're going to see those at bats for the receivers because you're so good at running that you're going to open up the pass game by nature.
Yeah, but those at-bats are going to go to Malik McClain, Pokey Wilson, guys like that, first and foremost, Johnny Wilson, Micah Pittman. Yeah. That's why Deuce's number is hard to get to in my mind. That's where I go like, hey, if he gets there, it means we're doing good things. I'll say that. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Senate's top Republican is calling for answers after the FBI raided the home of former President Donald Trump. Bob Agnew reports.
In a statement issued late Tuesday, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell wrote, "The country deserves a thorough and immediate explanation of what led to the events of Monday. Attorney General Garland and the Department of Justice should already have provided answers to the American people and must do so immediately." Critics of the raid are calling it an unprecedented political abuse of FBI power against a former president. Bob Agnew reporting.
Also at townhall.com, on the Ukrainian battlefront, Kyiv says Russian planes have been put out of action.
Ukraine's Air Force says 9 warplanes were destroyed in massive explosions at an airbase in Crimea amid speculation they were the result of a Ukrainian attack. That would represent a significant escalation in the war. Russia's denied any aircraft were damaged in Tuesday's blast or that any attack took place. Ukrainian officials have stopped short, though, of publicly claiming responsibility for the explosions, while poking fun at Russia's explanation that munitions at the Saki airbase caught fire and blew up. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
51-year-old Mohammed Syed has been arrested regarding the murders of 4 Muslim men in Albuquerque. He was arrested Monday after a traffic stop more than 100 miles away from his home in Albuquerque. Syed, originally from Afghanistan, was charged with killing 2 victims and was identified as the prime suspect in the 2 other slayings. Police Chief Harold Medina said it was not clear yet whether the deaths should be classified as hate crimes or serial killings or both. On Wall Street, stocks sharply higher, the Dow up 498 points, the NASDAQ 335 points in positive territory. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
hopefully surviving this, the first day of school for most. Yep, we get ratcheted back up, locked in, buddy.
Man, driving into practice this morning,
game changer.
People
now.
not knowing where they're going. That's the thing. In about a week or two, it won't be as bad because people will be more aggressive in a good way on the road. Right now, they're all like, oh, I got to slap on and change lanes in the last second.
I was very worried I was going to be the guy of which you speak. I was concerned as I made my way. My son is going to Leon, and I was making my way over there. I'm not done. Hey, man, there's a very specific way in which drop-off and pickup is done, and I don't want to be the a-hole that's in the wrong line, messing up the works. I hate that because when it happens to you, when you see some other clueless individual go in there and they're screwing up your morning or your afternoon, it's frustrating, even though I try to show extreme patience because I understand in situations like that, Tom, it can be tough.
You are a virtuous man.
I'm just saying, if you're new to the program, it can be a toughie. So this morning I said, all right, up and at him. I was the ball busting parent. I was like, hey, man, let's get it two. Let's get two. Let's go. Got some things to do around here. Time to get up.
You got to take the wooden spoon to the pots and pans from here on out.
I didn't do that, but I had everybody. I made the lunches the night before. I had breakfast ready to go in the morning. Coffee was already brewed. Everybody was good. And then I'm a morning guy, well established. But my whole family kept sleeping, so I was like, no, that's not what we do. Flippity do with the lights. Everybody got the lights treatment. That's how we roll.
Wooden spoon in the pan. Y'all come on and eat now. Bing, 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 bing. Y'all come on out.
Oh, man. Go on, get. But I did. I was able to get everybody to get up and moving. And at the end of the day, Dad saved the day. I did. I saved the day. But I got us there. And my point was that I was worried that I was going to end up in the wrong line and the horns were going to happen and all that. No. Silky smooth. Just got to get there on time. Got to allow a little space.
Just make sure if you recognize a vehicle to not give them the bird.
Like I did all those years ago and then have that be, I told you that story is awesome just because of how all the implications.
Oh, on so many levels. Is there a freshman only car line drop off or
no? Everybody goes into one. So it's, but it worked well. Hats off. And then Clark is good to go with his school. Everybody was good. Everybody's good to go. But it reminded me, and hey, it's come up on the timeline, so let's bring it up because it's football related. So I will, it's a little bit like when folks try to initiate Cat 5 maintains at a turn. When people try to, I guess, weasel their way in.
Everybody thinks they're on the council, the small council.
Yeah, they love to suggest to me when I should label such and such game a Cat 5.
It's a two-man council, but you have 2 votes and I have 1. That's how small this council is.
Very small.
So my vote doesn't even count.
So what I'm telling you is I'm always on to you when you do it. When you come in here and you guys are, I don't know, Jeff, that weight game could be a Cat 5 maintained. No, it's not. It's not. It's not going to be. Highly unlikely. Let's put it that way, okay? So I think of this next thing that I'm going to lay out here as similar to that, and that is no fewer than 5 people, either on Twitter, here in the chat, via text if you know me personally, on Instagram, all these places where I'm at or I can find or be found or what email, you name it, right? People have come in here lately. You feel the winds, Cameron? You feeling those winds? Come on, man. You felt those football winds yesterday, Jeff. I like that I am directly associated with football wins because that's a pleasant thing. Nobody gets mad about football wins. And if they do, they should just leave. Love it or leave it. So what I will tell people, hey, listen, there was a breeze. You felt a breeze in an otherwise suffocating environment. Okay. Normally you're just dying because it's like throwing a wet blanket over you at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so the first time you walk outside and it's not a wet blanket and you're not profusely sweating as you lock your front door to go to work, you're like, oh my God, it's heaven. No, it's not heaven. It's just not insanely hot for the first time in weeks. It's just not insanely hot.
It happened a couple of times yesterday.
That's correct.
Is that what you're going to reference here?
So here you go. I'll meet you in the middle, everybody. It did happen. It did happen. Yesterday, Tom and I were in Doak Campbell Stadium. We were the smartest of the folks covering the team as we immediately moved to the top of the stadium steps, knowing that that's where the shade would welcome us.
Yeah, on the visitor side, in that part of the day, that's where you want to be.
Like an old oak tree, it said, "Come on up, friend." And so we did.
I may be receding, but I can help you right now.
I've got you. Read your book under my branches, won't you please? So we did. We went all the way up and we sat down to take our notes for the football team and talk about what it was we felt good about and all that good stuff. And so we did. And then at one point, very briefly, a breeze swept across our faces. And I looked at you and you me. And we said, well, that was, well. But we still didn't call them football wins. We just duly noted with a knowing nod that a breeze had crossed our path for the first time all camp long.
Yeah, so much like the Cat 5 Council, I sit and I'm a voting member on the Football Wins Council. I have one vote. You have two.
Right.
But can I submit for approval that this could be called a messenger win?
Yeah, I like messenger win for a lot of reasons. Spirits of yesteryear, there's a little mysticism to it. Maybe our Native American brothers and sisters reaching out to us from beyond the grave to let us know our time is soon.
You would know that's in your blood.
It is. So I don't know, Tom. It's tough. I don't know exactly what I would call them, but that happened yesterday. It also happened. Now we get a lot of pop-up storms, violent storm yesterday. But it was violent yesterday. I said, what the hell is going on out here? The apocalypse. So, hey, here's the thing. I was sitting back off to the side. I was playing golf over the weekend. Just got a 9 in and then an 18 on a Sunday. So just a 27 holes over the weekend. And at one point, late in the evening, that same I was on the tee box and I was playing by myself and it was glorious. I just took a step back away from the ball. Felt it, let it wash over me for a second. And I hesitated. My brain was like, is that? Nope. It is not. But a messenger win is the nice middle ground. I'll give you messenger win. Couple messenger wins out there, folks.
Yep.
They do exist. Couple messenger wins.
Last night after one of the storms, 2 nights ago, you had me giggling because 2 nights ago we had a pop-up storm over by us in the Buck Lake area. It looked like, because it's so dark outside, it looked like somebody flicked on and off stadium lights on my front lawn. Through the doors, everything just went white. I was like, oh my God. But last night after one of the pop-up storms, I went out to take out recycling and trash, and it was notably cool by this year's standards. I walk in, I ask my smart device, what the hell temperature is it? And it was 77. It was 77 before 6:30 p.m. I couldn't believe it. I opened up the back deck because I said, we're not going to have this for another month.
Well, you got to open it up for like an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. It goes quick. The messenger wins, they come and they go. They don't stay long. The more sustained football wins that we're all clamoring for are a ways away, friends. They are a ways away. You can't make them appear because you email me, tweet at me, Instagram me. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it so just because you want it to be. I say it aloud hoping that it happens, but it is not. They are just messenger wins. But it is nice to feel them because it does portend. It does indeed. FSU Gnome writes, no place worse than where I live, Middle Georgia. Hot as Florida, no breeze, surrounded by trees. It's the butt.
The butt of Georgia. That's right.
It's the butt. It's the butt of Georgia. Oh, that is well done.
It's not dissimilar from here when it gets really hot.
We have a lot of trees.
Yeah, we're landlocked.
Which is a good thing.
I don't know where the breeze comes from. Certainly not from the Gulf.
No, it's not. But I know where he's talking about in Georgia. It's a toughie.
You can hear it when you walk outside.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. Just that sound. Death all around you.
Pissed off birds.
Yeah, angry, dying birds, desperate for their next meal.
Mm-hmm.
Bugs burning. Yeah, you walk out, you're like, oh, there's that familiar sizzle of Middle Georgia, the butt of the South.
Is it 11 o'clock already? Man.
These kids going over to Jacksonville, they leave today. FSU football. It's a good day for the offense. Bad news to start the post-practice update. Kayden Lyles is out for the year, and that means you lose a backup center, backup guard at the very least. May have ended up being a starter. We don't know. I don't think he was on track to start, but I do think he certainly was going to provide depth for us this year. I wish him well. Season-ending injury is all that Mike Norvell said. We know it's a leg. So we wish him well. They are going to try to petition and see if he can get another year, is what it sounds like from Mike's post-practice.
Explore all options was the term, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be.
Really strange now that the news is out, because there were rumors, and we all know of the rumors. And look, if it makes it on social media or a board, inevitably we're going to get texted by friends if we don't see it already. But what's really strange about this is it's not a game week. You're not gaining an advantage over anybody by this Saturday. My man was wearing shoulder pads earlier in the week and his helmet going through stretches.
I think I've got a guess here. And it is just my guess. I don't know anything. And if I did know something medically, I can't tell you.
They found out over the weekend is what he said too, just in case. I don't know where you were going to go, but that's what Mike said on the record today.
Right. So there seems to have been something, and he said it today, so I don't mind bringing it up. The injury occurred last week. So there was an injury at practice last week. Okay. The rumors of which you speak made their way on boards, anything that covers Florida State, anybody that does, we saw it. We saw that it was out there. The chatter amongst Seminole fans, it was out there. It was omnipresent across all sites, you name it. All right. Certainly I heard it, got a text early, and I texted you, truth be known, and was like, sure hope this isn't true, is whatever I said to you. So point is,
of bleeping course.
Right. I added a little flair to the text. So the point would be that happened, and it is frustrating. But you just hope, because there are rumors that surround players, coaches, teams, programs. It's the nature of the beast. You just thought, okay, well, nothing's confirmed yet. So the further removed we got from last week's practice, where this was alleged to have occurred, of course, we were at every practice last week, and we never saw, the cart never came out, never picked anybody up. There was nothing like that. We wouldn't have been able to tell you if there had been, but Mike would have been asked after practice about it, and he would have addressed it, and then therefore we would have been able to talk about it after subsequently Mike Norvell, the head coach, did. But that didn't happen. There were no medical emergencies last week on the practice field. Nobody came rushing out because a kid. Listen, I can say this now. When Schrader busted up his leg, we all saw it happen and knew instantly. Oh, no.
And when was that?
Whatever.
Well, just in case, because people might be like, wait a minute, he did what?
No, I'm talking
back
about
in the day.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
whatever.
back in the day when it happened.
When that happened, yes. When that happened, I remember the play. I was watching it when it happened, and he went down, and Mike went to comfort him, and the whole world knew he was hurt. And, he handled it like a man, for lack of a better term, just sat there holding his helmet, but you knew he was really hurt. And they had to wheel his ass out. Well, there was no guesswork at that point. You're like, well, that ain't good.
Coach, why did you wheel his ass out?
And so you just, at that point, you knew what the deal was. So unless he's Paul Pierce, it was going to be a serious injury, right? So at that point, it was not a shock what we found out later on. Nothing like that happened last week. Nothing. So you did kind of hold, maybe you were hoping against hope, but you held on to the idea of, Well, I didn't see anything like that. And the guy who's allegedly out is out here right now in shoulder pads.
Right.
So you just
not exactly, spry during
he's not
stretching
doing
and warm-ups,
sprints, but he's there.
Right.
And so you were just again, bottom line is the only reason I bring any of this up is that it was addressed today after practice. He's out for the year. We didn't see anything last week that suggested that this was something that was a severe injury. So it's not shocking that we had to wait until now to find out that that's it. That's all. My guess is that he, probably a non-contact injury, something like that. Oftentimes that leads to these kinds of things where it's really frustrating when that happens. And then he felt a little something. They held him out. They let the swelling go down. They looked at it a little bit closer. My other guess is that he was going to be willing to try to fight through and play through it. I mean, sometimes like guys, depending if it's a partial tear or what it is, or if you can stabilize it and support
or you get a second opinion or something like that, then that got it to the early part of this week. But if it was indeed they found out last weekend, it just is strange that, again, it's not like he is a Remington Award nominee or finalist, and you've got Florida coming up this weekend. There must have been some kind of hope. I don't know what the hope was.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen. He's gone for the year. So that's a ding to the depth. I don't think he was going to start. In fact, in my mind, I have a feeling I know the starting five for that offensive line. And I think I know who the backup's going to be.
Yeah, agreed.
The more interesting talking point as a result of this injury for you and me, at least in terms of just kind of assessing what it means, what it doesn't mean for Florida State, is, okay, look, do they have players that can be viable backups to Maurice Smith if he starts, right? He was a starter last year. I would assume he's going to be a starter this year. And it's interesting, we think, and without getting into details, because we don't want to get in trouble with this, they've worked a lot of guys there. There's a guy that I think has the potential to be really good there, but he's not ready yet. There's another guy that, if he has to play, I don't think he'll be a disaster, but I think he's not where he needs to be. It's not ideal. And then there's another guy that, Tom, I think is, if we're just talking about being a backup, I think he could be a really good one. I think he's probably ready to be that. So why do I bring these three guys up and kind of a cloak and dagger? Well, I don't want to get in trouble for telling you all the different people that they're rotating into the position. I don't know if Mike wants us to tell you that. It's a competition, et cetera. But I do think, though, Tom, that the other reason to bring it up is that I'm letting people know there is a viable backup right now on this roster at that position, who I think if he were told that he had to start, would not blank the bed. I think he'd be all right. I think he would play pretty well.
I'm wondering who you're thinking about. We'll have to talk about it during the break.
It's a mutual admiration society from you and me.
Okay. Well, here's one thing, though. I was looking for the tweet at Warchant because I tweeted it. I'm just looking for the correct wording.
Mm-hmm.
8 days ago, Norvell said this about Darius Washington, that he's been resting from practice and he's coming along. Well, if you head to warchant.com and you sign up for just $1,
it's a buck
a year, and you join the community and you see, say, the practice observations from yesterday, you'll note that resting no more, Darius Washington does appear in some of the trench notes and observations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Norvell gave us the window, so I will jump through that window to describe this. Now that Darius Washington is no longer resting, I think he could be one of the guys that maybe they work on, because Norvell also said today, as many as we can. Ira asked him the question, so are you going to work out specific players? How many? And Mike's response was as many as we can. We know Alex Atkins has said in the past that Darius Washington can play all 5 positions on the offensive line. Will be interesting to see. We won't be at Jacksonville the next couple of days. That'll be Aslan and Corey. But I'll be interested to hear how that goes, because they wouldn't not try a guy that they believe can play center as a backup center at some point here.
Before we break, I'll answer Brian's question. Are the linemen routinely wearing knee braces to help stabilize their knees in order to mitigate knee damage? Absolutely they are. They look like robots. They're all geared up, more than I've ever seen. I mean, I think they are exercising every precaution imaginable, Brian. I mean, it's excessive in my opinion.
It's kind of like the late 90s, early 2000s when you saw batters in the batter's box.
Oh, yeah.
Barry made it really cool.
Braces,
Barry Bonds did. Yeah, everybody's got it now. Yeah.
It's unreal. Now, they've probably come a long way with those braces since when I played, because those braces were cumbersome. They were really difficult to move around in. Nobody liked wearing them. It was frustrating. If you so much as had a simple, like, slight sprain, but you felt fine, there were times that I would almost want to be shot up as opposed to wear one of those braces because they were that kind of cumbersome. But I don't think that's the case anymore. The technology and the design, these guys now wear those all the time, and they're able to move very fluidly. So I think it's changed. And so now I think it's just as a matter of precaution, to your point, Brian, there's probably not a staff in America that doesn't make their linemen who get, this is what happens. You're in the trenches. Guys get blocked into you or get knocked into you. Your knees are forever getting taken out. Guys go down in a heap all the time because they're just big men. Once you start to fall, these aren't limber receivers putting a hand down and spinning their way out of a hit. I mean, these are big-ass dudes. So they all have these braces on, and they're taught to just lay still, lay down. Like, don't fight that. We're all right. So, yes, Florida State is doing everything they can to try to prevent these things. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests, or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a Hometown Hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all Hometown Heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
A lifelong Florida farmer, Wilton Simpson is ready to be Florida's next Commissioner of Agriculture. A devoted husband, father, and grandfather, Wilton Simpson grew up on his family's chicken farm in Trilby. One of us, Wilton shares our conservative values and, like any farmer, believes in working sun up to sun down. And Wilton's brought that same farmer's work ethic to Tallahassee as state Senate president. Simpsons fought to cut taxes for Florida families and fought for parents to have a say in their children's education. 100% pro-life, endorsed by the NRA for defending our Second Amendment rights. Wilton knows we have to crack down on illegal immigration. And Wilton Simpson has the complete and total endorsement of his friend and ally, Governor Ron DeSantis. In the Republican primary on August 23rd, vote for conservative farmer Wilton Simpson for Florida Commissioner of Agriculture. Paid political advertisement paid for by RSLC Florida IEPAC, P.O. Box 772516, Miami, Florida 33177, independently of any candidate or committee.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
First game of the preseason, Tommy.
That's right.
The Ravens
playing Tennessee.
Ravens football tomorrow. Yeah, there you go.
Harbaugh can throw some tricks at Malik Willis tomorrow.
Yeah, forget it. You gotta find everybody, right? Yeah. Butts play on Friday. Really, everybody plays. If we're looking around here, that's not Bucks. I said Butts. Talking about you, Jags. Giants, Patriots, Titans, Ravens, Falcons, Lions. Did you catch Hard Knocks?
No, is that started?
Yeah, first one was last night, I think.
Oh, man.
Can you believe it?
Is it the Cowboys again? Who is it?
No, it's the Lions.
Oh, see, I had no idea.
Sneaky.
So the Ravens are a minus 190 proposition tomorrow. I think that's actually fairly cheap, given the trend.
Harbaugh cares deeply. What's the line itself?
3.5. It's a little too much.
Just take him to win at minus 190.
Mm-hmm.
Got Jets, Eagles, Cardinals, Bengals. Buckaroos play Saturday against the Dolphins. I like seeing the uniforms on the field at the same time.
Yeah, you'll see the uniforms with Kyle Trask or Ryan Griffin or somebody else playing quarterback.
Good chance Kyle Trask gets cut. He sucks.
Woo! A rough camp. Every media outlet is talking about how badly he's playing.
Ass.
You've got the tools, unlike any other rookie quarterback in Buccaneer history, to learn underneath.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, the ability to learn.
Oh, yeah.
His tools are limited.
To learn underneath. Those are the tools.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
And it's gone. Get rid of him. Bring in some other backup. Let Ryan Griffin be our backup. Here we go. The toughie.
Next year is going to be a toughie. But that's okay.
Well, you're going to have to draft a quarterback is what you're going to have to do. Obviously, Ryan Trask is a bum. So we're going to have to
Kyle Trask. Whatever the
hell. But we are. We're going to have to draft a real quarterback to supplant the greatest of all time. That's a tough transition. You're used to a lot of things. Take a lot of things for granted.
Is Matt Moore still available? Let's go get him.
Could go get your guy. Is he still in the league?
Who, Colt?
Yeah.
Colt McCoy?
Go get your hero.
Ooh. Colt Mike Evans? Longhorned Aggie?
Oh, good God, no. We can't do it. Roquan Smith has requested a trade from the Bears. I find that odd. The all-pro linebacker, and yeah, he's been good, has requested a trade out of the organization. He did so earlier this week due to a lack of productive contract talks. It's negotiation. It happens. But he's entering the final year of his deal and noted that the Bears' new front office regime doesn't value me. He's only 25 years old. I think they do. Roquan, I think they do. He believes the organization is not negotiating in good faith. Negotiations are always ugly, but hey.
Sometimes this is the play that you have to make because he has the third most tackles since he joined the league.
No, he's awesome.
He's really, really good. Second,
yeah.
You can affix him at second team or better in the all-pro rankings when the season's over. I'd be interested in him.
Oh, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bring it up only because I'm interested in him.
Devin White for him right now.
Jeez, man. Why are you coming for it all? You just go straight for it.
Last year would suggest that might be a good trade.
Well, hold on. The year before wouldn't.
That's correct.
So let's go easy here, my man.
And we've got a more consistent player here.
I don't know that he's better. White at his best is fierce. No, I would not.
Okay.
I would not. But I like that you asked the question. Man, came in swinging.
Why not?
I would get
this
rid
whole
of...
thing's going to blow up in a year anyway.
No, you're wrong about that. You're wrong about that.
Am I really?
You are. You are. We're doing a good job of supplanting the roster with better and newer players that are going to step in nicely. Just don't have a quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
No, but hey, listen.
That's a big one.
That's all right. Go get you a quarterback. The off season, it'll be there for you. Go get you a quarterback.
Get Drew Brees out of the broadcast booth
No,
next
God,
year.
no. That little pop gun arm. That ain't winning nothing for nobody. Who would you go get?
I have no idea. Trying to think of like some of the old timers that might be cut loose this year for one more run.
You just want one more veteran?
Yeah, because you're going to have
Matt Ryan comes up just short with the Colts this year. You snatch up Matt Ryan.
I think you have to. If he was available and he didn't look like Drew Brees this year, I think you might have to.
He could look like Peyton Manning at the end of his career. Come on, cowboy. One more time.
Jeff Saturday, I need you.
I can't get it there. Can't get it there.
One time, Sheriff.
One last drive, Sheriff. I'm here for you. Frank Gore has been charged with assault after an alleged domestic violence incident. I say, damn it, Frank. Can't go to Atlantic City.
For any reason?
You can't. It's just tough times. I mean, Atlantic City.
From Nucky Thompson to Frank Gore.
We've been doing this a long time. I mean, that is it's tough. But I don't know what happened. It's the report of a dispute with a 28-year-old woman. She was speaking to hotel security when the cops arrived. There were no observable signs of injury, so this isn't a situation like they had with
Warren Sapp
or Ray Rice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I went straight to Warren Sapp.
This wasn't that, but Frank Gore, if you're ranking the Canes of likability, Frank would have been high on my list.
Prior to this story,
I think
which we'll see how it shakes out.
We'll see how it shakes out. Innocent until proven guilty. I don't know, but I mean, Frank would be removed from the list immediately. Unfortunately,
who's number one?
Andre Johnson.
The Rock?
No, Andre Johnson. I still like Andre. I wish he were still in the league.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Well, if Julio gets hurt this camp, maybe we can sign him.
Andre is by far and away my favorite. I can't name another Cane that
Ed Reed? You don't like Ed Reed?
I like Ed Reed.
Yeah, me too.
It's slim pickings from there. I just can't think of too many guys.
Brad Kaya.
Brad was fun to make fun of because they thought they had him one. They thought they had a guy.
Van Dyke?
He was a bum.
How do you feel about Van Dyke?
I can't say that on these airwaves.
Interesting. Okay.
No, I don't.
Is that positive?
Whatever. I hope he gets blindsided early in camp. I don't have a.
You did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, nothing permanent. No, I don't have any nice feelings towards Van Dyke. I don't. I'm going with Andre Johnson's the answer to your question, and then I would have said Frank Gore, but alas. So now there's like none but Andre Johnson. That's it.
Reggie
Ed Reed. I like Ed Reed. You're right.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne, maybe. I don't know why, but if you were a receiver with the Colts, I don't know that I can trust at any point that you are what I thought you were. We learned our lesson with Marvin one-time Harrison. And
you think that Reggie, I could just picture this.
Reggie seems like a good enough guy. Oh, I know who. The linebacker that I did a show with on SiriusXM. Former Saint is now in the broadcast booth. Does a really good job. Vilma.
Yeah,
Jonathan Vilma. I like Jonathan Vilma. He's a good guy. I actually talked to Jonathan Vilma off the air. He's a good guy.
I just picture the Colts charter, and Reggie Wayne is always so afraid because Marvin tells Reggie to sit in the window seat next to him. So then he's locked, and Marvin never goes to the bathroom, never gets up.
That's it.
So Reggie is stuck.
Yeah, and what's he going to say?
Right. And so he's tried everything, and on this day, he's going to be the last one on the plane, and he hopes that Marvin has filled the seat. And when he gets on the plane, Marvin stands up and says, Reggie, where you been?
Yeah, and it's over.
Thought you were going to miss the flight.
I saved your seat.
Sit down.
I think it would be better if he said it nicely, like knowing that you had no options. Well, I got you, baby. I got you. You're good to go right here. Right here. Have a seat.
And Reggie goes, that'll be fine.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Marvin. Sounds good. We can play some cards or going to be silent as usual on the way there. Yeah, no answer. No answer. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A judge has ruled U.S. Marshals can seize and auction off two of Scott Maddox's classic cars. The former Tallahassee City Commissioner was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison in September of 2021 after pleading guilty in a bribery scheme. Court records show Maddox was ordered to pay $77,063 in penalties, but still owes almost $57,000. A court order dated August 4th gives federal agents a green light to seize a 1962 Lincoln and a 1966 Ford owned by Maddox and gives them 10 days to divulge their location. A new breast milk donation site has opened in East Tallahassee. Capital Area Health Coalition has partnered with the Mother's Milk Bank of Florida to open a milk depot for local maternal donors to drop off breast milk. Once donations have been received, it goes through a testing process to ensure the milk is safe. From there, it is dispersed to local NICUs and hospitals. Donors can drop off milk at the office location on 1311 North Paul Russell Road. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Otherwise, cloudy skies expected. High temperatures reach up to 91. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight. Lows around 73. Overcast skies. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 89. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 89.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
There's a TikTok that's going viral because of a butter softening method. They are putting the Vermont Creamery butter in the waistband of her pants. Give it 5 minutes. You can go and measure out your ingredients, and then your butter is ready to go. You cannot do this in Florida.
No.
Because your pants will be full of butter in 2 minutes. Somebody try it. Post on TikTok.
Unless it says juicy across the back.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Your best interest in mind at T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction. They're doing a job in my neighborhood right around the corner. They believe in doing things the right way and the safe way. Employees undergo regular safety training and are constantly being educated on new techniques and new materials like becoming master metal applicators. If you considered a new metal roof long-lasting and durable, you're in luck. T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction are the best in town. Give them a call today, 766-1340, or get a free quote today at tsparkconstruction.com, tsparkconstruction.com.
So the T-Spark picked up a tab for us a week or two ago.
Two lucky dudes that weren't us.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
It was like the Mirror Universe episode of Seinfeld.
I wish that we had the good fortune of partaking in those free beers, but alas, another time, T-Spark, another time. We'll take you up on that.
It was Joel and Ted, not Jeff and Tom.
I like Old Smitty's over there. That's got some tasty cold beverages and some decent food, buddy. You'll have to come over there with me. We'll make our way over at some point.
I got to get my passport for my trip to Georgia.
Buddy, you live further out from everything that I do. Where you live is in the middle of nowhere. Not where I live. That once you made that move, you could not make the joke anymore.
That's true. You know what, though? It's getting built up in such a way that when you see all of the burgeoning restaurants and wonders out my way.
Someday they'll bring that to the sticks, and you'll have everything the rest of us have in Tallahassee.
The value you get on my property is amazing.
Oh, man. Mets win last night?
Indeed they did.
Is there a night they don't, buddy? You didn't know that you would, this quickly reach a place where it would be easy to dislike the Mets.
For others, sure. Yeah. I mean, I could even hear myself talking to some of the fellow beat members earlier in the week about the 4 out of 5. And I wasn't trying to be mean. It was just right now they're that good.
I wanted you to win 5 out of 5 because it would be that funny.
That would be a very Mets thing to happen to Atlanta. Like the Mets would lose 5 out of 5 games in a 4-day series. And that would be something that, that we would just get ridiculed for. We're like the Browns of baseball.
Well,
even though we've had far more success than the Browns.
I was gonna say.
But everybody, I mean, it makes headlines when you make fun of the Mets. And I get that and I embrace that. That's
It's
part
New
of
York.
who we are.
It's New York, right?
Robbie Bonilla stuff. I mean, that's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we almost did. We almost came back even when the Braves were hot dogging it in the dugout, acting like they won the World Series in a Friday game. Strange stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys argue about all that. Pirates lost to Arizona again last night, so this is who we are. You're up 6-2, by the way, in the 5th.
All right,
roll on, Big River.
Good stuff.
You're going to win 120 games. Don't not win the World Series if that
That's
happens.
the hard part. You've got to enjoy the season for what it is. I always enjoy a division championship because I grew up in a world. This one's for you, Braves fans, where you won 14 straight. Like I could not stand you because all you did was win the East every year.
Also, you should appreciate it. I think that baseball's postseason is very, very different than baseball's regular season. Now, obviously, you value world championships more than you do division titles.
Of course.
And if you can win one of those, that'd be great. You take that over any division title any day of the week. Everybody knows that. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't value division championships. Those are won over the course of 162 games. They have value. It's not like a 7-game set. You want to, out of 162 games, if you win a division, you earn the hell out of that.
No, there's a very good chance with the October 22nd bye week, which the World Series doesn't start till November this year.
Yeah, I hate that because there's a chance that one of the games is unduly affected by cold.
Sure.
If the right teams make it.
That October 22nd bye week, your boy over here may give himself several days in Manhattan in case, I don't know, there was just a game up there to go to. Wouldn't that be nice?
Another stat, and people roll their eyes these days. I just continue to marvel at it and enjoy it and embrace it because it's cool. But Shohei Ohtani with another home run and another win. It's crazy. 6 scoreless innings to go with his team leading 25th home run. Ohtani joined Babe Ruth, 1918, as the only player in Major League history to have at least 10 home runs and 10 wins in the same season. That, according to, I guess, a stat that, Stats and Info put up for ESPN. According to the Angels, 2 players from the Negro Leagues also did it. Bullet Rogan, who has a cool name.
Oh, man.
1922, Kansas City Monarchs. Eddie Ryle of the 27 Detroit Stars.
What would Bullet Rogan play in football? Running back? Got to be.
Yeah, running back, I would think. Bullet Rogan could be a receiver, but running back is likely. Yeah. Bullet Bob Hayes. Just like you think about if you're Bullet anything, you couldn't really be a defensive player.
Probably couldn't be Bullet now either. This day and age.
Yeah. I think you could.
Washington became the Wizards for a reason.
They did a while back. Yeah. Anyhow, here you go. Shohei Ohtani now, by the way, 21, 22, 2021, 2022, we're talking about 157 Ks so far this year pitching, while also hitting 25 home runs. 156 Ks last year while also hitting 25 home runs. The list only includes Babe Ruth, and the numbers are a lot different. Baseball was a lot different back then, but in 1919, Babe Ruth hit 25 or more home runs while striking out a robust 30. Not 157, but 30. That was in 1919. So
throwing meatballs up there.
Well, he actually was a good pitcher and pitched well in the World Series. At one point, you go look at that stat line, but it is pretty crazy. I think sometimes we just take for granted. I know baseball is what it is. People, it's not nearly as popular as it once was, but I don't like to overlook. It's like when Serena retired, and I talked about it last hour. If you're a sports fan, and anybody listening to this show is, you love sports, you love competition, you get probably the history of it. You know, you like everything about it. It's escapism, but it's also probably something you participated in to varying degrees of success, right? All of us. But one thing's for sure is that we love to measure everything, hence the popularity of lists. But for me, it's more along the lines of, hey, man, we have this finite time to live. And during that time with which we are occupying the planet, did we get to see one of the greatest to ever do anything? So, you know, if you, where that is certifiable, like some of these numbers make that possible, measurable, where you can say with a degree of context that somebody is this or that. Now, it's tougher to compare eras, but you can still know. And so when it's happening, I like to take notice of it and try to acknowledge it as opposed to impugn it.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm going to see Brady play for the Bucs this year. I have not. And when he retired in the offseason.
I did year one, buddy. I was right there.
I know. And
twice.
When he retired this offseason, I thought,
you were like, oh no.
That was dumb. I should have seen him. So in December, that's going to be something that happens.
You remind me of my lament, my great lament, not having interviewed Roddy Piper.
You had him on speed
dial. I had him. I had his number. Can you believe that? That is my great regret. I could have and he would have talked. He was at that stage where he was just a chatty Cathy. He'd have been talking to me all day long.
Like Jake the Snake did.
Well, that was a great interview. Go, guys, look at that in the archive. Go listen to my interview with Jake the Snake. It's a fantastic interview. But I would have had Rowdy, and I could have, that Piper was my guy. So I could have been referencing matches from 1980, and he'd have been like, this guy. Here we go.
He's a fan.
I could have told him Saturday night's main events, USF Sundome. Me and my brother John, only guys in the building with Piper shirts on, cheering you on as you used a foreign object to beat down Hulk Hogan. Sorry ass. It's a glorious night indeed. Still on a VCR tape.
Wow, they let him lose in Tampa?
Yeah.
Oh, very
well.
Good.
The match got stopped because they said Roddy was cheating, but I don't know. Seemed on the up and up to me.
So we've got a Greedy and a Pokey, and I'm sure some other nicknames I can't think of right now. If Rowdy was a player on a football field, what position would Rowdy play?
I don't like that name. Roddy Piper's fine for wrestling, but Ronda Rousey, I didn't like her being called Rowdy, and I don't like Rowdy Tellez from the Brewers, his fat ass. I don't like. Yes, no, I don't want him.
Kicker,
I suppose maybe punter. Yeah, you do that. Should we do? You want to do probables now? Probably best. Cue it up. Caught you.
Stand by.
Caught you.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I mentioned that the Mets lead the Reds 6-2 in the bottom of the fifth. That game was started by TJ Zeuch of the Reds and Tuan Walker of the Mets. Rays, Brewers, 2-0 Milwaukee in the third. Jeffrey Springs, Brandon Woodruff, good pitching matchup there. Nats and Cubs are just underway in front of 7 people. Josiah, come on down the hill and pitch for us. Josiah Gray pitching for Washington, and the Cubs will throw Justin Steele. Angels, A's. Tuki Toussaint going to go for the Angels. I said A's. What did I say? I don't know what the hell I said. Angels and A's is what I meant to say. Paul Blackburn going for the Athletics. Giants, Padres, Jacob Judas, Sean Manaea. Swing your authentic swing. Yankees, Mariners, we got Nestor Cortez, Robbie Ray.
Nestor, yay!
Oh, there it is. Blue Jays, Orioles, Jose Barrios and Dean Creamer. Marlins, Phillies, Sandy Alcantara, Noah Syndergaard. Throwing hard.
No, he's not anymore. 93, 94.
Is that right?
It's a damn shame.
Guardians, Tigers, Aaron Savale and Drew Hutchison. Braves, Red Sox, Kyle Wright, Nick Pivetta. Rangers, Astros, Glenn Otto. Hey, I'm Glenn Otto. Welcome to Glenn Otto. Justin Verlander going for the Astros, throwing 104 miles per hour inexplicably. White Sox, Royals, Johnny Cueto, Chris Bubik. Cardinals, Rockies. Way to go, Rockies. Beat up on the Cards again tonight, would you? Jose Quintana going for the Cardinals. Kyle Freeland going for the Rockies. Pirates, D-backs, Mitch Keller. Starting to figure it out, Mitch. Starting to figure it out. Madison Bumgarner for the D-backs. Finally, Twins, Dodgers. Good game tonight. Sonny Gray, Ryan. Beep, pew. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the mountain.
It's the baby.
Oh, man. That's fun. That's a full slate. They're not doing that half step in the way hockey always did us. Here you go, guys. Here's your one game tonight, inexplicably. Yeah.
It's Wednesday, Friday, right?
Yeah. Screw you. Ooh, I'm ready for some hockey tonight. Tough luck, buddy. Here's a game. You get one.
Camp opens in like 3 weeks.
No rest for the weary in hockey, buddy. It's crazy. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great day and night. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Redemption Thursday.